Hi there, this is Wes, and today I want to talk about converting my pickup into a camper, so to speak. I'm taking a road trip and I need to move pretty quickly. I need to be nimble, so I've decided to not take the Airstream. Even though it would be more comfortable, it does slow you down. You need extra time to find places to put it and so on. So I thought, well, maybe I can convert the pickup for a place to stay. I've thought first about going into the back of it in the bed, and it's about 6 feet long. It does have a tonneau cover on it, but I'd rather not do that. It just doesn't give you any headroom. It would, I think, be uncomfortable. So then what I thought is putting a bed in the back, so the back seat of the pickup. It's the large crew cab, so there's a lot of space back there, although it is more narrow than I am high. I'm about 6 feet tall, and so I think if I could sleep on a diagonal, I would be okay. There's a surprising amount of room in the back of the pickup. So let me show you what I have come up with. So my thought here is to set up a bed in the back of my pickup, and there's a lot of space back here, so that's not an issue, at least width-wise. The problem is lengthwise. I'm about 6 feet tall, and it is not 6 feet wide. But my plan is to build a bed with a platform so I have storage underneath, and maybe I can kind of be parallel, or not parallel, but diagonal-wise, and I think that may work. So I thought I would show you how that all works, and it's all new to me. I'll let you know. Okay, so I have cut a piece of plywood. This plywood is about a 1/2 inch thick, actually a little bit less. I've got it setting on some buckets right now just for testing it out, and there's still quite a lot of space in front of it. But I purchased a mattress that's 25 inches wide, and so that's what my plan is. Now I'm going to build some legs to fit underneath it, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, here is the back of the pickup. What I've done is made a bed out of a sheet of plywood. This is actually a little less than a 1/2 inch thick, but there are a total of 8 legs. I made a couple of 2x4s to make kind of 4x4 legs, and it's really quite sturdy. That's really not a problem. And then for a little bit more space, I created another little platform, and it's on a hinge. So that does 2 things for me. One, it allows me to sleep on a diagonal, but it also allows me to get access to things that are underneath. I purchased a memory foam pad from Amazon. It actually folds up into 3 pieces here, and it was longer than I needed, so I cut that off, and then I took the extra, and that's put in a pillowcase, and so it all fits very snugly in here, and then I can sleep on a diagonal and completely stretch out without any problem. And then all I have to do is flip this up and then move this piece, and then I can flip this over, and I can access whatever I need to do personal business. I think it'll work out great. I'm looking forward to the trip. Hey, this is Wes with Airstream Wanderings, and kind of getting dark outside, so I apologize for probably the low video quality, but I thought I would show you how I kind of set things up inside of the back of my truck. You know, and it's worked out surprisingly well. In fact, a couple of nights ago, I ended up staying in a hotel. The best part of that was the shower, but the rest of it, you know, I honestly think I would have been more comfortable in the truck. Maybe it's just familiar surroundings, but for the most part, this is a cozy place to be, and it stays reasonably warm. Some of the nights it's been below freezing, but inside of the truck it's not that cold. And I have a nice warm down sleeping bag that I use, and it's been just fine. I find out that there's really plenty of room to be back here. I have a booster for my cell phone, so I've had great cell phone connections. You can plug things in. That's all worked out well, and I can stretch out. Now, behind me right now, I've got all my sleeping stuff kind of stacked up, and it's just kind of like an easy chair back there. And I'll show you how my feet go here in just a second. And then around all of the windows, I have made Reflectix. That's what this stuff is. I can kind of peel it off. There you go. And that is great for a couple reasons. And I've got it cut out, custom made for each of the windows. But one, it acts as an insulator, but also for privacy purposes. I think the one thing that is maybe not perfect about that is because it's shiny, on the outside, someone would be able to see that you have that up in the windows. And so if you wanted to do stealth camping, hide out in the middle of a city or something, I think people would know what you were doing. But what you can do actually is paint the back of the Reflectix, or the outside piece of it, black. And at that point, I don't think anyone could tell. And I'm pretty certain that it's good at shutting out any light that you have. And like I said, the back seat is surprisingly large, and it could be even larger. I don't know if you can tell here, but the actual seats are folded up in this Ford F-150, and so they're out of the way. I could have actually taken those seats out, and that would have given me probably another 6 inches. I don't really feel that I need that, but if this was going to be a longer term situation than a week or so, I would probably want to do something like that. And I don't think that would be that difficult. And then what I do is I just move forward the front seats all the way forward, and then tilt them all the way forward. And that gives me plenty of leg room. So let me show you what the legroom piece looks like, and I'll talk about that. Well, I'm not sure how well this really shows up, but I'm leaning back and sitting up. But what you can see is that right here, there's an extra piece that fits in when the front seat is leaned forward. I actually have a little door that flops over, sits on a bucket, and then there was an extra piece of the memory foam mattress, and it fits in there perfectly. And so I'll sleep kind of on a little bit of a diagonal. I can completely stretch out. I'm just slightly less than 6 feet tall, and there's plenty of room from side to side and for the length. That works out great. I just cannot complain about that at all. Like I said, it's very comfortable. The other thing is that the center console is just kind of the right size, and I have a box here with a lid on it that has all kind of my personal things. Things like money and toothbrush and all those kinds of things. That fits there perfectly. I just move that to the back seat when I am driving, so there's plenty of room. Down below, and you can't see that, but underneath me there's all kinds of storage for clothes and food and shoes and those kinds of things, and that is all the space that I need. There's actually extra space down there that I have not used. And then at the back of the truck, I have all the other storage that I'm using for other kinds of camping kinds of equipment, including the cooler that I use for food, or at least for the cold food. So overall, this has been really quite a convenient and useful way for me to be able to travel and to be very mobile and flexible in the way I go. And in fact, if I wanted to, during the middle of the day, if I wanted to stop and take a nap, that would be an easy thing to do. I really haven't had to do that. What I like best, though, is staying in like state parks, BLM land, national forest land. One, it's just more satisfying, better for the soul. Feel a little bit less comfortable staying in like a Walmart parking lot, although they generally welcome you to do that. But it feels like there's maybe a little bit less privacy. However, when you are inside of a truck like this, If you felt unsafe, all you have to do, well, one, you keep the doors locked at night, and then you can just crawl into the front seat and start the car up and go. So it shouldn't really, I haven't really felt unsafe at any time, so it's not really a problem. So in retrospect, I am glad that I was able to do things the way that I did. It's been very comfortable. Sometimes you have to be a little bit flexible, but you know, I'm not 25 years old and I have not had any trouble getting out and maneuvering. And when we have the one piece, the extension for the bed out, there's plenty of room for your feet. It's easy to change clothes. So none of that is really an issue. So for me, this has been an enjoyable trip, and I'm glad that you were able to come along with me for part of it. So as always, I wish you health and wellness, happiness, peace, and love. Take care. Bye-bye.